Hi, this is Aria McKenna from Real Life, a program from the Long Island International Film Expo. And I am here today with
Jeremiah Kipp. I directed a short film called The Minions.
the Minions. That's a really good name right now. I've been noticing Minions absolutely everywhere.
That's
And
true. Yeah, we're the other
yeah.
Minions movie. Yeah,
So tell us about your Minions.
okay, great. Ours is a short film. Ours isn't the colorful one for children. Ours is actually a grown-up story. It's about witches. It's based on a true story. I was reading a book that a friend of mine, Joe Fiorillo, had written, and one of the chapters was about this man walking home in a really desolate, supernatural neighborhood called the Witch's Path, and he encounters two drunk girls. And during that encounter, he's like, "Well, let me bring these girls to safety," and he doesn't know as he's bringing them along if they're victims or if they're minions of witches, and if he might be in terrible danger. And the story kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you're familiar with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the great Washington Irving story, but in that story, a guy is on his way home and he might be pursued by the headless horseman, or he might be consumed by his own superstition. And I thought that this movie had some of that going for it. So it's a scary movie. It has nothing to do with the children's film that's out right now. Children should probably not go see my movie because they'll be traumatized by like terror and fear.
Okay, so when you say it's a scary movie, would you say it's more haunting and scary, like you're wondering what's going to happen, or is it more gory, or what? How far do you take this?
Well, I would call it psychological horror, horror of the mind, which can be terrifying actually. Like horror of the mind can consume you. That can go like straight up into madness,
That's my favorite part.
which is mine too. Yeah, I mean, I love horror. I love horror films. I love all kinds of horror films. I love the slasher movies, and I love monsters. I love all that stuff. But that wasn't what this story. That wasn't what drew me to this story. This story, like, there's evil from without, which is like the monsters that are coming to attack you, and then there's evil from within, which is like bubbling up in all of us. We're all consumed by things that, like, when we become frightened, we can become very frightening, and if we're walking down the street, and I'm from New York, and like one of the most disturbing experiences I ever had was a mugging where they had no empathy for me whatsoever. So those are the kind of like things where it's like that sort of like desolate urban encounter with a stranger that I was drawing on more for the Minions, where it's like you encounter somebody you don't know and it could lead to danger and chaos.
That was an interesting thing that you just said.
Yeah.
You said when you become frightened, you can become frightening. That felt like that was a very deep statement. I'm curious if that's something that you delve into thematically in this film.
Well, I think so, but have you ever felt that way when you became really? Well, actually, we wouldn't know if we became frightened.
Honestly, I mean, I think that when we are really feeling fearful, that's when we have a tendency to kind of draw fearful things toward us, as well as to create situations that one would be fearful of. So that just seemed like a deep statement out of you suddenly.
I think it's a truth actually. Like when we become afraid, all of our shields go up, and like we're prepared to attack or defend.
And people expect to be attacked.
Yeah, that's right.
When you're fearful.
Yeah, when you're fearful,
exactly.
like if I picked up a phone and held it to like held it like that,
And you do that because
then you
you're
might get
afraid.
really nervous. I
Exactly.
mean, like so, like if I suddenly did that, I mean, like it's like it would be strange behavior, and then you would react to that in kind. Now I think you're perfectly safe. I mean, there are a lot of camera people around, and like I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like one of those things where if nobody else were around and you had an encounter with a stranger, that could easily like slip into something like dangerous or claustrophobic or scary. Yeah.
So, and you've done quite a few films, I've heard, before this. Yeah.
I love making movies. It's been the great love of my life ever since I was 12, when I was like running around in the backyard and like, all right, guys, we're gonna all get together and we're gonna make a zombie movie. You guys are gonna be zombies, and you guys are gonna be. I'm gonna give you guys these prop guns, and the zombies are attacking the house. Right? That's how I started. But I'm still that guy in a way where I'm constantly trying to like create new projects and generate new things. Like I saw a poster right when I walked in with Eric Roberts on it, and I just made a movie with Eric called Black Wake, which is like a H.P. Lovecraft inspired like monsters erupting out of the ground and destroying the world kind of thing, which is totally different than the Minions. I mean, that's more like straight up, the end of the world kind of thing, but I love to work.
It sounds like you like a lot of these sort of action adventure, thriller type
I do.
movies.
Yeah, I do. But I like all kinds of different movies. Like when I go to when I go to the movies, and also when I make them, I constantly try to defy that idea of like even if I made two scary movies in a row, like I made The Minions, and then right after that, like literally a month later, I made this one called Painkiller, which is like about parasites and body horror, and then right after that, I made a drama which had nothing to do with horror. It was about a Palestinian girl taking music lessons from an Israeli guy, and it had a lot to do with how music can bring cultures together. So I like to make a lot of different kinds of movies because I love the medium. I love working with actors, and I love the possibilities. And I don't want to be pigeonholed into just one thing. Even though if somebody said you're going to make horror movies the rest of your life, I'd be super happy about that. But I wouldn't want to make the same kind of horror movie for the rest of my life. I'd want to continue to explore, and I think that's the great thing about movies.
And challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, great. So have you been to LIIFE many other times, or is this your first time here at this particular film festival?
My lead actor from The Minions, Lucas Hassel, was here last year with his sci-fi movie Into the Dark. And Lucas and I have known each other for years, and I love Lucas too. Lucas is a great actor. And this is, this was my third film working with Lucas. We're about to make another one with the same writer called Entanglement. That's about to shoot in like a month. So Lucas and I worked together a lot, and then he was very enthusiastic about this festival. We were planning our festival launch, and we're targeting a lot of horror festivals and a lot of like cool independent festivals. And Lucas was just saying that this is one that we should go to because he had such an amazing experience here with Into the Dark last year.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Really great having you here.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.